and welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts and Crafts. And today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a product review on Let's Resin Epoxy Resin. It's a one-to-one resin. It comes as part A and part B. When I got it, because it was sent from abroad, the part A was really cloudy, but you never worry about that because that happens with most resins. So all I did was I stuck the resin into some warm water, making sure it was very well sealed up, and it cleared within a couple of minutes. And now it'll probably stay clear for the whole time that I'm going to need it and use it. The other thing I've got hold of is these Let's Resin molds. And so I've got 4 of them, and they're, I think, sun catchers to hang up in the window. They've got the Let's Resin logo on. They actually feel really good quality molds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look and see how well it mixes. I'm going to look to see how well it cures and how well the molds work. And I'm also going to look to see how well it works when you add different colours in it as well. I'm not being paid for this in any way, shape or form, but it's a resin that I do hear quite a lot about, and they're molds that are freely available, so I thought I would give it a go and see how well it works. So whatever I come up with at the end of this will be my honest opinion. It will be my opinion and my honest opinion. Okay, without too much further ado, let's get on. So I've poured out my resin, I've done 125ml of hardener and 125ml of resin, and I've poured it in this silicone jug, and I'll be mixing it as I normally mix it. So I've heated it up first. There are a few bubbles in it, but I'm expecting those as I'm mixing up quite a lot here. What I will be doing is I will be mixing this exactly how I always mix my resin to try and avoid bubbles. And if you want to see how I do that, then tap the video above. That shows you how I do this. So it doesn't actually tell me on the bottle how long I need to mix this for, but experience would tell me it would be about 3.5 minutes until I can see that it's mixed well. So I'll come back to you after I've mixed this resin. So I've mixed this up now, and to be honest, it is quite a nice thinnish resin as well. There are very few bubbles in this, so I'm quite pleased with that. It's mixed up really well, and it was very easy to mix up, so that's a good point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let that settle for about 5 minutes, which is what I always do with all my resins, to ensure that I have enough, give it enough time to release any more bubbles that it may want to release. And so I've left this now for 5 minutes, and to be honest, most of the bubbles, there are 1 or 2 very small micro bubbles in there, have come to the top. So excellent on that count as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these, and the reason I've mixed it all up at once is because I want to see how long the pot time is for these. And the first mould that I'm going to try is going to be the unicorn. And I think what better way to do a unicorn mould than to do a bit of a Petri using alcohol inks. Never put more than 10% of the volume that you've got resin of alcohol. Okay, that's going to be enough for me. And I'm just going to move that one over out of the way and let that do its thing. So the next one I'm going to be using is this little fairy sitting on the moon. And I'm going to be using glitter with this. Now I'm going to be using 2 types of glitter. I'm going to be using a heavier glitter to see how that copes, and I'm also going to be using a micro glitter. Okay, so let's move that one out of the way. The next thing I'm going to try is, I love this cat mould. I'm going to be putting some black acrylic paint. So now I'm going to put in some clear as well. Hopefully that's not going to blend all the way through there, because I would like to see how well it comes out as a clear mould. I suppose I could have done one as a clear mould. but it shouldn't do. Let's put a bit more in there. And there are a few bubbles coming up, but we get that with every resin. And what I will do is I will go over my heat gun, over it with my heat gun, those in a little while. So the last one I'm going to do is the wolf, and I'm going to do that mica powder. With this, I'm going to use white mica powder for the whole thing. And I'm just going to put my mica powder in as I normally do, stir it around, and it's still quite good in the pot at the moment. It hasn't gone too thick, or it isn't unworkable, which is good. So it's got a nice pot time. Don't forget, don't use a gas torch on your moulds, whoever makes them, because it will shorten the life of them. And so often I hear people say, oh, my mould stuck, couldn't get my resin out my mould. It's because it will fuse to the resin, the silicone. I only ever, unless it's a really robust mould or it's one that I've made myself, I only ever use my heat gun on a mould. Pop that to one side. So thank you very much. Now what I'm going to do is all the all the leftover resin that I've got, I'm just going to stick into another mould somewhere, and I will let you know how that comes out at the end as well. So watch to the end for my full review on what I think of this resin and what I think of their moulds. Well, these have been curing now for a couple of days, although I have to say after about 18 hours these were touch dry, so the Let's resin doesn't take too long to cure. I don't really know how well these have come out until after I demold them, so let's demold them. So this is the one with the glitter. Oh, it's coming out the mold nice and easy. I'm not sure how easy it'll come out the bit where it... Oh, it is coming out. And they are quite robust molds. I'm really impressed with the molds. And they're not too shallow. So there we go. That's I think that's come out beautiful. The heavier glitter has kind of sunk a little bit, but then that does with all resins. But the microfine glitter has stayed in there really well, so that's come out nice. The cat. And this is the one I did with acrylic paint rather than anything. Oh, the cat has come out lovely. I love that cat. He's come out really good. He's beautiful. I'm really impressed with this resin. And the wolf on the moon. Oh, and he has as well. So all you need to do is, if you want to hang these up in the window, is just to drill a little hole in the back there, in there, and just hang them up. I would probably dome the back like I would with any other resin mold if I was going to look at both sides. But I think that wolf has come out really well. And this one I'm not so sure about, because obviously this is the Petri dish method using alcohol inks, and it isn't a real deep mold, but it may have come out okay. The unicorn. Oh yeah, it has actually. It's come out really well. I quite like that, how that's come out. So they're the 4 molds. I'm impressed with the quality of the molds. I'm impressed with the quality of the resin. It's an easy resin, great resin to use. But also, what I did was as well, I tested it to see, once it started to thicken up, if it would dome. And I had a piece of cardstock here that I use when I'm making cards, and I just cut out a little balloon, and as you can see, it really domed excellently. It was really well. I loved the way it domed. In fact, I would probably use this as a doming resin all the time. So there's the little balloon. And I also did one little clear, with nothing in it at all, mould of a pendant to see how that came out. And I have to say, I think that came out really well. There are 1 or 2 little tiny micro bubbles in it, and if I'd have babysat it a little bit more, I probably could have got those out. But other than that, it is very clear, and it's really quite hard as well. So my verdict for Let's Resin is it's excellent, really good. It's a shame that I can't get it in the UK at the moment, but I think that's about to change because I had this sent to me to test. I'm not being paid for it to be tested. I could have said whatever I liked, and I have done. I've been honest. But overall, I think their products are really, really good. I love their molds. Their customer service seems to be excellent. And I love their resin as well. So, if you're unsure which resin to use, give it a try. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share this video as much as you can to help my channel grow. Bye.